We're going to go right in to meet our first guest, and it's Maggie Mancinelli Cahill. She's the artistic director at CapRep, and with her is George Caldwell. He's a music director, he's a pianist, and he's been with Ella since the show started. So let's hear about this. What's going on?
Well, you know, on Friday, it's Ella.
Ella Fitzgerald, for those of you who don't know.
And we have this fabulous actress named Tina Fabrique, who's playing Ella.
And you've played with her most of the time, haven't you?
Yes. Well, Tina and I know each other from, we were in the Duke Ellington Orchestra together.
Is that must
25 years ago.
Exciting.
And, and the funny thing was that we hadn't seen each other in all that time until we went into rehearsrsal for this. And it was like, oh my God.
And how long has Ella been in rehearsal and playing? It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been touring it for about 7 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they took a break and they wanted to come back, and they called us and said, we'd love to start it at Capitol Rep. And I said,
what a great venue.
Yes, because I had wanted to bring it here for several years, but they were really busy. I mean, the theaters across the country that they went to was really incredible. So when I got the call, I was like, oh, I'm glad you didn't forget about us, because I've been waiting to get the call that they would come to the theater. So I'm really happy that we're going to have the show.
And it's for those of you who have never been to Cap Rep, shame on you.
Well, that's right. Yeah,
but if you haven't been there, it's such an intimate theater, and every seat is a good seat, and you're going to be right up close and personal with the actors.
Yeah, well, you know, no seat at Capitol Rep is farther than 30 feet away from the stage.
That's right.
300-seat auditorium, and of course it's a thrust stage, so audiences on all three sides of the stage. But it really makes you, especially with a show like Ella, it's kind of like when we did Always Patsy Cline.
Oh, that was great.
You really feel that you know the performer. The performer really reaches out to you in a very personal kind of way. And this music, oh my gosh, it sounds so great in our theater. I mean, I love Ella Fitzgerald. And and a very
she had such a great voice.
Yeah. And actually, I think people, like younger people nowadays, they know her name because she is so famous. But it's to actually know, like, well, I got to hear her sing quite a bit when I was young, and the power and the purity of her voice, she was recognized by singers in all areas of the vocal arena. Rock singers, opera singers, country singers, pop singers.
She had so much power.
Yeah, and they all gave her. I have a quote. I don't know if you will let.
Please.
If it's okay for me to read a quote.
Really.
This is from a music critic. He says, unlike any other singer you can name, Fitzgerald has the most amazing asset in the very sound of her voice. It's easily one of the most beautifully and sonically perfect sounds known to man. Even if she couldn't do anything with it, the instrument that Fitzgerald starts with is dulcet and pure and breathtakingly beautiful. As Henry Pleasance has observed, who is another music critic, she has a wider range than most opera singers, among many of the latter, including Dietrich Fischer-Dieskau, who was sort of like a Pavarotti type figure in his time, are among her biggest fans, and her intonation that goes with the voice is, to put it conservatively, godlike. Fitzgerald simply exists in tune, and she hits every note there is without the slightest efforts. Other singers tend to sound like they're trying to reach up to a note. Fitzgerald always sounds like she's already there. I mean, this is high praise indeed.
That is wonderful praise.
Now, can you imagine the pressure of an actor now having to do that? And that's why I wanted
because
Tina.
we're talking about Ella. Now we talk about Tina.
We're talking about Tina. And Tina has to sound like that. Just godlike. It's not too much pressure.
No pressure at all there.
No pressure.
Well, but you know what? Tina also has a perfect gift. She has perfect pitch. She has a 3-octave range like
Yeah,
Ella. She can make her voice light like Ella. She's quite the singer.
She is what they call tribute artist in a way.
Yeah.
Well, in a way, but the show is really surprising. The show is not a biopic kind of show, you know, a biography of Ella. It's about a very specific time in her life when she was trying to put the pieces back together with her son.
Yes.
And it's very touching and very moving. And so it's not a play that it's like, oh, and then I sang, and then it's not, that is not it. It really is this storyline where Ella Fitzgerald takes you on this emotional journey of this time where she was estranged from her family and trying to put those pieces back together.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see it.
And you don't know that about Ella Fitzgerald. I was really surprised.
She was so private.
Very private. She was very public in terms of her music.
And that was, I mean, and there was a time when she received some big award and they wanted her to talk, and she said, I'm too prone to saying the wrong thing, which is what I always do. She said, I'm better just singing. That's what she said.
Oh my goodness.
And that was her. She was very shy.
You get a little inside this woman, and she sings 28 songs.
Yeah.
28 songs.
Oh my gosh.
It's really.
Is there a break in it, or is she going the?
It's
an intermission. Yeah.
But and another thing that Tina did, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead. You're the star.
One thing that she really, which I think is to her credit, she doesn't try to imitate Ella. She tries to get the spirit of what Ella was about.
Ah, okay.
She tries to get at the heart of Ella Fitzgerald. And since she has this great gift of a voice, she kind of, can do it very well.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of gifts, you are a musical director, right, for it, and you play the piano.
Yes, I do.
Do you do that? You do it on the show?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, I
and
do.
who else are some of your musicians? And we have a photo we can show, too.
Oh, yeah. Well, we have Rodney Harper, a very fine drummer from Chicago. We have Ron Haynes on trumpet.
There's Ron right there.
Yeah. And he doesn't mean...
That's actually not Ron.
Oh, was it?
No, that's an old picture. That's from
forget this.
from Riverside Theater. So that's
forget
that's Thad. That's Thad Wilson. But he's also a fine trumpet player.
I tried to vet that out, but I guess I didn't do a very good job.
That was our fault.
He's from D.C. But Ron Haynes and also Derek Polk is playing bass. Well, the whole rhythm section is from Chicago, so it's like, except me.
and I have to tell you a story about about poor Derek. So we fly Derek in from Chicago, and we had to buy him 2 airplane seats because the bass takes the other.
Oh, the bass got a seat?
Yeah.
And so he gets to the airport in Chicago, and the commuter plane is too small for the bass. And so they had to reroute the guy all the way on a bigger plane, all the way in the. I still haven't seen him, and he started off. And
he's probably like old Charlie on the MTA.
Right. He said he had to get up at 4 a.m. to make the first flight.
Oh my God!
And then the connecting flight they couldn't do it.
They couldn't do it.
But it's bad enough doing that, but they have to do it with a bass beside
with the bass. And so I just want you to know that. I'll be very happy to see Derek, at Capitol Rep today when he gets.
Let's tell people when the play is.
All right.
All right. We go into previews this Friday on the 20th.
Okay.
And our official press opening is the 24th, next Tuesday. And it runs through August 12th. And
so they
can't be extended, so man, get down there and see it.
And there's an opportunity to see it. You can see it at matinees. You can see it at...
Right. There's Wednesday matinees. Of course, we have Saturday and Sunday matinees.
So you got matinees?
And we run Tuesday through Sunday. We have shows. So
they're packing in the shows so that you can see it.
That's
so
right.
Grab your honey, grab a friend, grab a
good
relative.
To grab your honey. Absolutely. Go for it.
And go see it. And you'll come out probably singing all those songs all the way home. Good.
Yeah.
Maggie Cahill, from an artistic director from CapRep, and George Caldwell. He's the music director of Ella, and you're going to want to check that. And I can't wait to hear your music up there, George. Thank you for being here.